If you watch the podcast I do with my friends, you'd know that I'm currently attempting to watch at least some of every single mecha anime from the original Gundam onwards. In this process, I've been discovering exactly how vast of a genre mecha truly is. At its core, mecha is about one thing: robots being piloted or controlled by people. It's more or less a constant of the genre with a couple of exceptions. From here, mecha can really be anything you want it to be. However, generally speaking, mecha is divided into two halves. The first of the two is the Super Robot Show. These shows are generally more kid-friendly, although that is definitely not a guarantee, and they feature more simple mecha with less technical details involved in actually using them. Super robots are meant to be portrayed as heroes, who arrive just in time to stop the bad guy and save the day. Shows like Mazinger, Getter Robo, and even some more modern shows like Gurren Lagann are all decent examples of the genre. Super robot shows dominated anime in general until about 1979, when something unexpected happened. On April 7th, 1979, Mobile Suit Gundam premiered and changed anime forever. The mecha in Gundam were all considerably more technical than those of previous shows in the genre, and in a bit of a dark twist, the villains of the show were no longer space aliens or weird robot creatures. Instead, the villains of Gundam were people. Every character in Gundam, with a few exceptions, were just ordinary soldiers, pitted against each other in a war between Earth and Zeon. Director Yoshiyuki Tomino has stated that Gundam was supposed to be a story about the horrors of war, although he didn't really comment on anything past that, wanting viewers to come to their own conclusions. Gundam changed the genre forever. Following in Gundam's footsteps, the real robot genre was born. Real robots were not meant to be portrayed as heroic. They are not heroes that have come to save the day, but rather a brutal weapon of war, designed to take as many human lives as possible. It's this contrast between the light-hearted, kid-friendly half of the genre, and this dark and serious half of the genre, that makes mecha so interesting to me. And from there, we get back to my current journey through the genre. I've set a few rules for myself to keep things flowing somewhat nicely. The first major rule is that if a show is not interesting to me, I drop it. However, to balance out this rule, I also have a rule that states that I have to watch at least 15 minutes of a show before I can drop it. This may seem a bit unfair to some shows. Normally people set a 3-episode test to decide if they're going to watch something, but that just isn't reasonable here. There are currently 664 shows on the list that I intend on watching, and that number is only going to continue to grow. If I give every show 3 episodes, I'm never making it through this. Speaking of the list, my methods to create it are a little flawed. I used my anime list's listings of what mecha anime was in order to construct the overall list. Mal's list is completely fucked up. They included a lot of shows that just aren't mecha. These shows tend to include a robot or two, but no actual mech suits. A notable example of this is Astro Boy, which is just about a boy who is a robot, and not actually part of the mecha genre. They also tend to omit certain shows that are absolutely mecha. Some shows, like 2007's Zammed Lost Memories, feature mech suits as a core piece of the story and aren't tagged properly. Also, that show is a masterpiece, please go watch it. I've already done the work to weed out all the shows that are incorrectly tagged, along with all forms of recap movies, specials, and other media that doesn't really add anything to its associated franchise, by manually vetting each show and typing them into a massive Google Sheets document. But I have no way to check for shows that just aren't tagged properly. This is where you guys come in. I have included my list of mecha anime in the description. If anyone wants to look at it, track my progress, see what shows I have coming up, go ahead. If I missed any show that you think is probably mecha anime, let me know, leave a comment. The list is by no means perfect, and I would love to be able to expand it, not only for my own sake, but for other fans of the genre as well. And if you want to use my list to start your own journey through the genre, then you can go right ahead and do that. I would love some company for this ride. If this concept sounds at all interesting to you, or if you just love mecha anime, go ahead and subscribe here. I'll be making videos about the shows that I liked within the genre here in the future. Also, go subscribe to my friend's podcast, the 3 Baka Podcast, where I give a less formal and in-depth version of my thoughts on shows that just aren't gonna make it into a full scripted video, and I do that at the start of each episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot to me that you made it to the end here. And again, if you're interested, all the links are going to be in the description. Thank you guys so much, and have a good one.